I have to ask you about a couple kind of fun celebrity moments. Tell me about this time at Sly's house.
Was down there shooting Tournament of Champions in L.A. and Jay Glazer, who's a really good buddy of mine, calls.
Jay's the best.
Oh yeah, I mean just one of a kind, just such an amazing guy. And he calls me and says, "Hey, Sly wants to invite you over to watch the fight tomorrow." And so I called my wife. I said, "Hey, Sly invited me over to his house to go watch the fight. What do you think?" And she goes, "You're a complete idiot if you don't go." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." So I said, "Well, tell Sly I'm gonna come, but I gotta cook." And Jay calls back and says, No. He says he's just ordering sandwiches. You don't have to come cook. Just come be a guest. I said, "Nope, not the way it works. I'm not coming to Sly's house, not cooking." She says, "Hang on a second." Calls me back. He says, "Okay." Sly says, "Okay, that's right. I said, "I'll bring everything I need." He says, "Okay." Calls me back about an hour later. He goes, "Sly wants to know if he can invite more people." I said, "It's his house." So, funny story was I was standing behind the bar. I'm standing there in a denim jacket, and I'm just kind of looking around, and I'm in the cigar room. I'm looking around, and this lady comes in and goes, "Lose the jacket, get going." She thought I was there to work. She thought I was a bartender. So later that day, I'm cooking in the kitchen, and she realizes who I am, and she calls Ariel, the makeup artist who was with me. She calls him over, and she goes, "Please. I tell him I didn't know who it was. I'm really embarrassed. I didn't even have an idea it happened. We had a great laugh." But anyhow,
you ran into Al Pacino.
So I'm there cooking. Don't keep giving away all the secrets. Let me tell the story.
I'm about to introduce the great Al Pacino to the great Guy Fieri.
I'm there cooking, and we get to meet Sugar Ray Leonard, and I'd already known Schwarzenegger for quite a few years, great guy. And all of a sudden, Sly's in the background.
Here he is. Guy, look who it is. Hey.
Hey, Mr. Guy.
How are you?
The meeting of the Titans.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure. I hope you're hungry.
I'm always hungry.
And I'm not a starstruck person, except for there's a different level. I mean, like, he's history making. I mean, he's nobility. I mean, he's just a different level, you know? And so he comes in, nicest guy in the world, and I said, "Can I make you something to eat?" "Oh, no. Well, what are you making, though?" I said, "Well, I'm making some Oh, I love pasta. Not spicy, though. No. So we go through this little thing. I make him this dish. Takes a couple bites. "Mr. Pacino, call me Al. How was it?" He sets his fork down. He pushes back and goes, "Oh, yeah. That's some pasta." I grab my buddy. "Can I talk to you for a second?" I get outside. "Did you see that?" The greatest moment. It was the greatest moment. The nicest guy. I mean, the whole thing was really cool.
How about cooking with Drake?
Oh, that was another funny story. Again, what a legend and what a neat guy. That was a long time. It was right after my sister died. I was in Toronto. We were shooting Triple D. I'm in the bar having a drink with my crew. A couple guys tapped me on the shoulder, big guys. They're like, "Hey, someone wants to talk to you." I don't know if that meant I was getting thrown out or what. And I walk in, it's Drake, and he's sitting there having dinner. It's about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And he's a big food guy. And we're sitting there just shooting the shit. Nicest guy in the world. Very unassuming. Just humble, calm, cool, just a great guy. We're talking, and I said, we're talking about his music. And I said, "Oh, my nephew Jules is the biggest fan." And I tell him the story about my sister and then, having Jules. And he is just like, he goes, "Hang on a second." He's gone for like 10, 20 minutes. I go, "Where'd he go?" He goes, "Well, he lives upstairs." I said, "Okay." I have a couple more drinks. I'm hanging out. It's late, actually. Now it's like 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. And he comes running down, and he's got this sweatshirt, this light blue sweatshirt. It's like large, extra large. Jules is 10. And he's like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to make this clothing line. And this is one of my shirts. This is one of my prototypes. Give this to Jules for me." And I said, "Would you mind signing it?" So he signs to Jules. It's the owl. Gives me goosebumps even telling the story. So I said, "Well, listen, that's so kind of you." I said, "What? I'd love to do something for you." He goes, "Well, teach me how to cook one day." I said to the waiter, I said, "Chef still here?" He says, "Yeah, he's in the back." I said, "Ask him if I can borrow the kitchen." Drake looks at me and goes, "What?" And I go, you want to learn to cook? Let's go. And he goes, right now? And he's like, okay. So we go in the back. I give me a couple chef coats. I put him on a chef coat, and there we are cooking it up. And Drake, nicest guy. Every time I see him, every concert, anytime he's coming to play, I'll call him, invites us. So this is, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years ago, he was playing in San Francisco, playing in Oakland. And I said, you know, can we bring the kids and bring Jules? And he could remember the conversation about Jules to the moment, and he said he still has the sweatshirt. And he gets a million pictures with the kids, with Jules, and he signs the other side of the sweatshirt to Jules. And I mean, you can't give a kid that lost his mom anything that can fill that hole in his heart. But you never know what your efforts or your actions will be and how much it'll mean to somebody. And it really, I believe, was one of those things that probably helped keep Jules, you know, somewhat grounded or directed or anchored or whatever, you know, because there wasn't a person in the world that didn't know about the Jules and Drake, you know, connection when he was 10 and then didn't know about it when that, you know, so it was very special.
You've been to the White House twice.
Mm-hmm.
How about most memorable experience you've had there?
The Situation
cooked
Room
the
isn't
White
as
House,
big
but-
as you think it is. No, you know what it was? It was a chance to work with the specialists, you know, with all the Navy cooks that are there cooking for everybody in the White House, because it's really a self-contained experience. One, I didn't know that I'd get the clearance to go to the White House and cook. Two, took some young students with me a couple times to cook and gave them the experience. Took Hunter with me both times. Hunter got to cook. I am a fan of our country. I don't get into the political mess. If you're running the country, thank you. I believe that we should all participate in seeing that this country goes as far and as good a condition it can. Have an opinion, yes, but please don't stand in the way of the democracy and where we're going. And so I would cook for any president. I feel that they're putting they're putting themselves out there. Do I have an opinion of who I'd like? Yes. Do I have an opinion of where I'd like to see us go? Our economy, all different kinds of things? Yes. But that doesn't mean because I have that feeling, that opinion, just because I like steak doesn't mean that I talk bad about chicken. You know, and that's something I think everybody needs to celebrate and recognize, is that freedom ain't free. There's a lot of people making a lot of sacrifices to get us where we're at. So when I had the opportunity to go and cook for, you know, our presidents, I take that with the highest respect.
Who'd you cook for?
And exactly. So that's really appreciated.